Enter the seventh gate. The reflection of the skull of Cedrin is accepted. You cannot return to the lesser vision. Entering the seventh gate, you face the death man, Eb, who surrenders you to the mortality inside the myth. You must begin the climb out, away from that which you can no longer quicken into life. You have seen the reflection of your divine self, that which you now truly are. You must die to all else, moving away from the dark star into the warm embrace of Ben, the angel of temperance. It beckons, you respond. Peter Ballon writes of Ben, "The death of the seed is the birth of the plant. The eternal return has begun. The growing is continuing, and the burden of the past becomes lighter." End of quotes. It is the crystal skull of St. Keen, who is your metamorphic of the seventh gate. In Helena Patterson's Celtic Tarot, under the Arcanum of Temperance, she writes that St. Keen was an early Celtic saint renowned for her strength of purity and radiant beauty. She toured the whole of Britain, performing many miracles of healing and changing serpents into stone. End of quote. Miss Patterson tells of a healing well established by St. Keen at Cornwall, and states, "The early Celtic saints still retained a mystical aura, and St. Keen had demonstrated the powers and knowledge of a druidess. Her royal bloodline confirms this point. The sacred wells of their goddess became holy wells, which signified their transference of power, rather than a conversion of Christianity." End of quotes. Thoth speaks. Commune with the Celtic druidess of the wells, for it is she who may receive you into the power of your inner growth as you combine the strengths of both shores into the one cup of service. Enter the eighth gate. Empowered by the two streaming consciousnesses of the Father God and the Mother Goddess, you come to the 14th and 15th significance. X, the bound man, who is washed clean, and men, released man, perfection close. Thoth speaks. Bound man comes from the storm. He takes all the energies of the lightning and thunder and wraps them in a small leather pouch, placing them at your feet. He tells you that you no longer contain these turbulences within you, for they have been snared for the limited things they are and placed at your feet. You are the master of your days, washed clean in the rain, received by the sun. Released man takes you upward on a spiral journey. He blasts you free from the mortar of her mortal tower. You can no longer stay where you are. You must go where no man or woman has gone before. You ride the dragon. It is frightening to your lesser self, but it is pure. It is that which comes from your knowledge of who you are. You place yourself into the path of destiny. Perfection is close, yet you must rise to meet it. The crystal skull of Gilgamesh is your opening to the threshold of Osiris. He is the dreamer of the star who captured a fragment of the lost soul. He stirs up a pillar in thy depths, rising out of the sea of the world, turning upward into the life of the light. Become the dreamer. Rise to your full awakening. Enter the ninth gate. A hidden master speaks. Herein you will receive the form of the Christ within, which is struck from the balance of the goddess's hand. Above her creation, she raises two lamps. From one shines the light of the star, the inhabited being of the spirit brought into the consciousness of the soul. As Plato wrote, God divided the whole mixture into souls equal in number to the stars, and assigned each soul to a star. Peter Ballin reveals that Sib, the Mayan cycle designated to the star, is the full light of consciousness. Everything is seen for what it is, and no illusions remain except one, which is consciousness itself. The second lamp held by the goddess is that of the moon. A hidden master speaks. Mankind is bound in service to the second lamp, for the rhythms of his world are determined by the strains of perception from the moon's harp. From this melodious refrain, so he creates his separation and becomes a reality unto himself and an illusion to the divinity within. The Mayan cycle of the moon is Shaban. Peter Ballin writes that under Shaban, the light of consciousness turned upon all perception, itself must go, burned to ash. Even that ash must be shaken off. Nothing may remain of the past if the next step is to be attained. End of quotes. A hidden master speaks. Bring the light of the two lamps close to your sight, strengthening their revelation within you. Modify that which is your illusion to suit the being you have become as a divine consciousness. Release that which is real to you, giving it back into the uncreated. Dance between the star and the moon, as an illusion of both and a reality of neither. You have become that which claims no union other than the perfected. From the perfected, self is not born and does not die. Eternity is realized by ceasing to identify with beginnings and endings. All that is must be taken in, nothing lost, nothing gained. Come before the altar of the hidden, where a black candle burns a violet flame. The amethyst crystal skull of Harmkaris, Ra, the ever-living, is your awakener. He asks nothing of you. Are you able to accept his unconditional offering of immortality? The question is within you. G.A. Gaskell's Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myth defines Harmkaris, or Ra, as a symbol of the first Logos, the divine life of the universe. Make peace with your immortality by accepting the gift of the crystal skull of Ra. Enter the 10th gate. Entering this gate, the initiate becomes he or she who is clothed with the sun. It is perfection attained, the 18th significant of Esnab. Peter Ballin states that in this stage, the apprentice has completed the task. The past is dead, all fear is stilled, and death is perpetually cutting down all movement of the I. Energy flows freely. End of quote. Following the sun within the 10th gate is the planet Venus, Quark. Here the divine nature is manifest in the sorcerer. He is prepared to receive a hidden master to reclaim the body of Osiris. Your solar body, the energetic creation form, is brought into union with the etheric body of Venus, which G.A. Gaskell refers to as a symbol of astral love which urges the life to pour itself forth into the forms which await its reception. And so this lower love of form life is an important factor in evolution. End of quotes. It is from this form life, this essential body that has been mutilated in the karmic world, that we of the divine mantle are now ready to retrieve and redeem. Before this retrieval can begin, the initiate must gain the understanding of his or her mission. Elizabeth Van Buren, in her book Refuge of the Apocalypse, writes, in ancient Egypt, the sky was visualized as a great ocean, and the stars and planets islands in space, which were the homes of beings of light. They spoke of the great company of the gods, the lords of Kurt-Netter, and the little company of the gods, the lords of Amenti, the hidden place, personified by Isis. End of quotes. Isis, as the retriever and redeemer of Osiris's body, or his form being, is the keeper of the hidden place, for she creates the vision out of darkness, allowing the hidden to be revealed. Under the veil of Isis, those things not yet accepted by the minds and hearts of her children, so Isis conceals. G.A. Gaskell identifies the veil of Isis as a symbol of the higher mind, inaccessible to the lower consciousness. Only when the mortal has put on immortality will the beautiful maiden be revealed to the risen soul on the bridge of their mind. Isis is representing as saying, no mortal has raised my veil, the fruit of which I have brought forth is the sun, that is, the incarnation of Osiris. No mortal man, etc., means no mental quality united with emotion, is capable of producing the spiritual factor in the soul. Isis, the Buddhi, must be a pure virgin in order to bear Horus, Jesus. She must be fructified, not by mind, but by the divine self, Holy Ghost, in order that she may conceive and bring forth Horus, the incarnate Christ, Osiris. End of quotes. You, initiate of the sun, presenter of the morning star, stand within the temple of the Christic form. Here you await the one sacred act of redemption. Elizabeth Van Buren, in her Refuge of the Apocalypse, reveals, the Great Pyramid of the heavens as the Trinity is a living, energizing, and active principle in the universe. The ancient peoples were aware that the earth acts as a mirror to the energies of the cosmos, and they set up their holy temples of stone, their menhirs, placing them at nodal points of magnetic lines of force. However, the Great Pyramid of the heavens is now without its capstone, in the same way as the Pyramid of Giza is missing its apex. This great symbol of the three in one fell from its position in the sky. End of quotes. Ms. Van Buren continues, stating that there was a great shift of the earth several thousand years ago, causing the heavenly pyramid to be dramatically rearranged in its alignment with the earth. She laments that it was not only mankind that lost wonderful gifts at the time of the last cataclysm. If we are correct in our supposition, then as the earth shifted, all the points on its surface which had previously had direct links with the 7 major stars of the Great Bear would have fallen away from the alignment and would have found themselves pointing to the stars of the Little Bear. The energies emitted by the new pole star are only a fraction of the strength of those which once poured into the earth from the Great Bear. So earth fell from grace as well, and men, animals, plants, all have to find their way back to God again. Polaris, the pole star, is associated with the body of man, symbolizing the material aspect of the being. It is the star of the Little Bear, associated with the evil brother of Osiris in Egypt, meaning Set. Elizabeth Van Buren touches upon the essence of our journey through the 11th gate of the star in these passages. It was Set, the brother of Osiris, who slayed him, cutting his body into the 14 sacred pieces. The number 14 is reduced to 5, which is the number of the body of man. It is also the sacred pentagram, which according to Thoth is the value symbol of the redemption of light. Van Buren states that the Druids taught the universe is the body of a being of pure mental light, and that the early symbol of this deity is 3 rays of light, and every Druid wore this symbol on his mitre in gold, with the astral bull in white, golden stars adorning its horns. In Egypt, the Great Bear was symbolized by the bull. The 3 rays of light remind one of a pyramid, the central line cutting the pyramid in half. Unquote. In Mary Cain's The Glastonbury Zodiac, she writes of the 3 bars of light as representations of the Johannine dove, the name of God in its sacred trinity. Thoth identifies these rays as life, light, and perfection. Van Buren quotes from a poem entitled The Holy Grail by Alfred Tennyson. And over all one statue in the mold of Other, made by Merlin, with a crown and peaked wings pointing to the northern star. Elizabeth Van Buren equates Other, which means Great Bear, with Osiris, writing that Osiris was known as Asar-Sa, meaning Osiris, the shepherd. The Buddha was also known as Asar-Sarn, and Asar is phonetically like Other. Returning to the Johannine dove, Mary Kane writes, in Arthurian legend, the dove flies like a sign from heaven across the hall of the Grail Castle, preceding the Grail procession with its halos, flooding the scene with unearthly light, preparing for revelations from another plane. Van Buren links all solar kings with the Great Bear, including King Arthur, with the constellation of the Great Bear as Arthur's Round Table. Arthur she sees as Arcticus, the constellation of Boots, the bear keeper. Like Arthur, Osiris is a slain solar being, but he has been dismembered, separated from the whole. It is not only necessary to restore him, but to first unite the many parts of his being. In Van Buren's Heavenly Pyramid, with which Thoth concurs, quote, the stars of Orion lie beneath the base of the Great Pyramid of the heavens, unquote. This underground region of the pyramid is the tomb wherein is found the sarcophagus of Osiris. His etheric body remains in the coffin until his formal body is reconstituted and united with it. Here we find the solar form, i.e. the physical body, seeking embrace with its Venusian astral body. Van Buren writes, Osiris is below and outside the pyramid. He is fallen out of the Trinity and lying in the damp underworld. He represents the dark shadow self of mankind, striving to attain the light once more. End of quotes. It need be understood that Orion is the bearer of light redemption. It is in itself not fallen. It is from the most radiant plane of the blue star Rigel that the commands are given for the divine forms which are incorporated by the living lights of the archangelic hierarchies. Yet through its role as redemptor, it contains within its matrix those planes of being that are, like the pieces of Osiris's body, cut away from the whole. Ms. Van Buren capsules our mission with the Temple of the Morning Star when she writes in Refuge of the Apocalypse, the Great Pyramid is without its capstone. It has been predicted that this will be replaced at the time of Christ's second coming. The pyramid is both the symbol of God and man. The two are one, as we are part of God, and whatever happens to him also happens to us. Therefore, the second coming is not simply an event outside ourselves, but is something which must happen to us as well. The apex is the symbol for the light in each of us awaiting to be reborn. End of quotes. And of course, the second coming, according to the Thothic doctrine, would be at the time of our ascension into the new Earth star.